Welcome. You're watching New Attitude, and I'm your host, Anastasia Rivers. We have a special episode this evening. We're covering good customer service in our community, and we have a special guest here. I'll share it with you, but Dean
Baptiste.
Adansky Henry.
Okay. Dean is my co-host, and Adansky is also my co-host, and Miss Sonia Joseph. I asked Miss Sonia Joseph to come here because she works at IRS, and I went there earlier the week, and the service that I got from Miss Joseph was above and beyond, and I had to bring her here. I asked her, would you mind coming on the show? I told her that what we do is we highlight positive things. And I must say that when I first got there, they were speaking to me through the window, and she overheard and she called me inside. So nobody else will hear what I'm talking about. And she expedited what I needed without any question. A matter of fact, I overheard her speaking to her counterparts in St. Thomas, how they coordinating, and I like that, you know. So anyway, here is Miss Sonia Joseph.
Good afternoon.
And welcome.
Thank you.
I just had to put that out there. Sonia, how long you working in IRS?
Combined years would be 8 years.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And with what I wanted to point out too is the service that you provide is strictly for people that coming in to file the tax and what have you, or also for property. What do you do your area?
It's a combination. First of all, as the manager of the processing division on St. Croix, I wear many hats. We oversee the incoming of the tax returns and get them processed through the system.
Okay.
I also interact with the taxpayers on a daily basis for if they're asking for status on their tax returns, if they lost a check and they need it reissued, etc.
Okay. And I was one of them that came there for help, and I'm telling you, I didn't expect what I got. And you know, you get the government get a bad rap a lot of times because we do get some bad service, you know, and I had to highlight the good, you know. Dean, what do you think?
Before we came on, I know we were talking about something, and there was a part that was said, people come with the bad attitude and create the bad. I mean, you're a human being. Mm-hmm. If I come to the window with a bad attitude, you're going to stir me up, me inside the window, and you're going to cause me to kind of, fire back at you. So the people that's coming for the service needs to come in a more pleasant, with a more pleasant attitude, and know you're coming for help. And yes, they're working and they're supposed to give you the service, but at the same time, you don't try to drag the service out of their hand and out of their mouth. Exactly. You come in and you ask to speak to whoever, and you say, well, this is my problem. And if they tell you that this problem cannot be fixed this way, and this is how, they're the people that knows how it's supposed to be fixed. So if they tell you can't fix it and you could fix it, it's for you to say, okay, let me try and get it done this way. I've been to places, I see people come up to the window, I stand up myself, if I was working inside, it would have been a fact.
I'm telling you.
Because, but then you have people that that's how they are. But if you're going to get service, you have to give the attitude so that the service could come to you.
Yes.
But like Dean said, we were speaking earlier before we came on air, I think people have a stereotype of let me say, since Miss Joseph works for the government, that when you go to a government agency, like, you don't get this bad customer service. And yeah, people have this big stereotype, but there is bad, but in every bad, there is good. There's always somebody or people that are going to make your day way better than it was, and that was your experience. And we need to stop, we need to be open-minded and stop thinking that, because we had one bad experience at this agency, we're going to go to this agency and get the same thing. It's not.
And you know, it's more or less each one has a responsibility, the service provider and the customer. And if we both, you know, they have to get training, I'm sure, to deal with customers. But like I said this, as a business owner, the training I got, customer is not always right, but we got to make it right for them.
Right.
So when they're making a fuss, you got to try to be the professional one and turn it around. And I was not uncooperative. I was, how was I?
I thought you were pleasant.
Oh.
When you told me about the good customer service you received from me, I told you made it easy because you yourself were pleasant.
Thank you. And that's where it goes. One hand wash the other, or you get what you put in. Even though the employee or the service provider is supposed to be professional, they're human. You can't come in and dog me up and expect me to smile at you. You know what I'm saying? And you come in, and then you want to tell me, how come you don't tell me morning? How am I going to say morning to a pig? You know what I'm saying? So I just had to bring you here, and I really appreciate you. And I wanted people to know that we plan to go around to not look for it, but whenever I receive this, I'm hopefully to highlight, and if you all get it, bring them here. We highlight. It don't have to be a government agency. It could be a restaurant or something like that. Any place that provides good customer service. We like to highlight them, you know.
One thing I must say about customer service, being in customer service myself, I mean, at my previous job, I do behind the phone customer service. I don't do face to face, but before that, I used to be behind the counter at the bank. But one thing I must say, no matter what agency you go to, whether it's private or government, and they teach, do you have customer service seminars? They could teach you all the customer service you want, but customer service is in you.
That's right.
It's you. It's in your personality. It's in your demeanor. It comes from the heart. Because I mean, you know, you could come here and see a customer. Some customers come in. I mean, they look like they just wake up and they vex with the wall.
Yes.
But as long as you keep a cool head with them, it changes the whole dynamics of the situation.
It's true.
And then the person that you're coming to, they might have had a bad day too, a bad morning. Mm-hmm. And then you come in, you just add to it. This does happen.
Yes.
You know, so it really goes both ways. If you come to me and I'm not in a good mood, you're going to get something. If you come to me and you're not in a good mood, I'm going to get something. But if you want something, and it's very important to you, you would humble yourself and present yourself in a manner where I really need this, so if she tell me kneel down, I'm gonna kneel down because I need to.
But you have your days where you want to forget the customer service. Trust me. When a customer comes in, you want to forget everything you learn. You know about customer service.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ms. Joseph had those days like where she wanted to be like, okay, no, so I'm forget this customer service that I know, but you know you have to do it because you know it's part of the job and that what helps you to, you know, help other people, you know. So.
And who come up with this that the customer is always right?
That's a training. That's what I tell you. I brought people down from the States to train me to be a trainer. When I had my restaurant, so I trained my employees. And why it said is customer is not always right.
Okay.
Not always right. That's what it is. But it's our job to make it right for them. So they come there and they're arguing, oh, how can I help you? How can I make it better for you? Or something like that. Rather than arguing back with them. Because those customers, especially in a restaurant or other businesses, we want them to come back. As for IRS, they have to come back. You know what I'm saying? But the service she gave it like as if she was her own business and she wanted to provide that service. Okay, so we're going to take a little break and we're going to come right back and talk a little more about good customer service versus bad customer service. Welcome back. You're watching New Attitude and I'm your host, Anastasia Rivers.
Team Baptiste co-host.
And Adansky Henry co-host.
And we're here with Miss Joseph, Sonia Joseph.
Correct.
From IRS. We're covering good customer service. And I brought her on to share the service that she provided. And we're here discussing that same thing. Now, earlier you were mentioning that you also receive good customer service.
Yes, I myself, I went to a plaza and Feeling all tired because this has been a rough week at the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Tired, just ready to go home, but I had to pick up a couple of groceries. I got to the cashier. She was this nice big smile, very pleasant, very polite, very professional. Unfortunately, I don't know her name, but and I'm there dragging, and we just got to talking, and she mentioned that she has an 8 to 5 job. She'd already done her 8 hours for the day, and now she's coming to Plaza to work from 5:30 to 11. And I had to mention it because here it is, she's already put in so many hours, and after 6 in the day, she still has a bright smile on her face, still being professional with me, and it gave me a burst of energy. All my tiredness went away, and I was like, this is it. This is the same thing Miss Rivers is talking about. And here I am having a pleasant experience myself. I'm sorry I don't have her name. I wish I had her name to at least mention her and give her kudos, but I just had to share that.
What goes around comes around. You give it and you get it.
I guess so.
And I also went to GRS yesterday, and I received just about the same customer service from this lady. Miss Knight is her name. She was so pleasant. I had to ask her who she was, who her parents were. Her dad is a monitor to Central High Night. I think it's Chuk, they call him Chuk Night. Yes, and she was so professional. I went there before to get help to do the same thing that she did, and a year ago, and I still didn't get it done, and within minutes she did it.
Wow.
So I asked her to come on, but she said no, so she gave me permission to mention her name. Her name, I can't pronounce the first name, but it's Miss Knight at GRS, and I want to thank you again for your professional service. Now, she share a good one, I share a good one. You have anything to share? What about you?
Well, mine is going to be, I have to go see her. So, I know I'm going to get the same kind of service that you got, because she's very pleasant. She have a nice smile and all that. So, it's very hard to go there and see she in a bad mood. She don't look like she'll be in a bad mood. Or, so I know I have to go there. So I hope when I go there I meet her. But is there any other employee there that, all the employees have the same attitude, do you think?
I met one there, the new one you're training. One that you
The one at the front desk?
No, the one that came in.
Oh, Miss Ann George.
And you're training her.
She was actually between myself, but most of her training came from Miss Vernice Henry, which is an employee on St. Thomas. She's a supervisor of error resolution. And she actually came to St. Croix for an entire week to work with Miss Ann George. Both two good employees also.
And what a big smile she had, and the type of work that she has to do. And she's
like that all the time.
So I got a couple others, well, I know them personally. Byron.
Trisha Byron.
Trisha.
Yeah, not Trisha.
Yes, and
another Sonia.
Maynard John.
Yeah.
Yes. So we got some good customers there, but I'm talking about a customer service someplace else, whether it's good or bad.
But I very hardly I run into somebody that's going to treat me bad because
they recognize me, Dean. That's why.
Most of the people is going to be no problem. We'll call you when it's ready, or stuff like that. I don't get much of that.
Well, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be who you know or who you are.
But it plays a bit. It plays a part.
What about you? What about you?
Well, the last one I can remember is actually a young lady. I don't know her name. I see her face at the John Woodson High School office. I actually went to meet one of my daughter's teachers, and I walked in, and she was so pleasant that I deleted my daughter's schedule out of my phone by mistake, and I asked her, what class is she in right now? And she was up, and she went to the phone, and she looked at it, and she was like, okay, she was so pleasant. It was like I wanted to walk out, buy her some flowers, and bring it back.
But, that's so nice. But what, you didn't get her name?
Actually, no, I didn't.
She works in the front office there at John Woodson?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to big up John Woodson in the name of that young lady that helped you. So that's nice. And it's just a good feeling when you receive it, and I've gotten bad customer service too. And I could tell you about an insurance company I went to. And this lady, she was terrible. And every time I go there after that, I say I don't want her to serve me. The problem that I had, the manager called me to put it in writing. I said, I ain't taking nobody food out of the mouth. but I just don't want her to serve me anymore. So when I went back there, they said she's not there anymore. I said, good. They finally got rid of her, but they wanted something in writing, but I didn't want to be the one to do it. But I told her she's a little snot. I told her so. But if I get good customer service, I'm going to tell you.
Right.
And if I don't get it, I'm going to say it too. You know? Sometimes I go through McDonald's, and it's so good. I give them a tip. They look surprised. You know, they ain't supposed to take it. But I give them a tip because they were so pleasant all the way through. And not because it's McDonald's or whatever, or you got to give the service any less, you know?
That's right. Do your best no matter what your occupation is.
Exactly.
There was a lady in McDonald's in Lorraine, I know one time. She was the most pleasant. She will actually talk to you. When you drive up, good night. I mean, she seemed like a Yankee, I think she was though. But she was real pleasant. I don't see her anymore. She probably left or something, but you know, you see them every now and again, and then you find one that you'll be like, okay.
Yes.
And some people don't realize that your customer service can make someone come back to where you are.
Exactly.
And if customers don't come back to you, then
you don't got a job. So. Exactly. Then the employee gonna say, well, things slow. But if they keep coming back, well, you know, I mean, I had a part-time job. I worked for, before I became a police, I worked for a construction company in the office, and I worked at 2+2 as a waitress. And I used to go home with a lot of tips just for smiling, being pleasant, and they would give me tip. So it's all got to do with customer service, you know. So, I mean, you were going to say something?
No, it definitely has to do with, you know, customer service is a plus for any business, good customer service. And for you to get that, you too have to give it. You know, don't expect for them to make your day. You got to make their day and then make yours too.
Exactly, exactly. So you see, what you guys, really good. Thank you very much. And I must mention her husband is the fire chief. Fire marshal, sorry. Fire marshal, very nice. And when I saw the pictures up there, I said, that's your husband, he is so nice, you know? And, you know, I just admire that. And I just...
His picture is in her office?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
His picture, the children, and we chat, and we were chatting there like we knew each other a long time after waiting for the process. So it was really nice. And let me tell you, it's just attitude, and that's why no attitude. You can have a no attitude if you know that you were guilty of giving bad customer service. Check yourself, and if you were a difficult customer, you need to check yourself too. The wall will make life easier. Yeah, what do you say?
Make it go out.
Yes, you know, in a nice way. So I want to thank you for coming and being here on the show with us and sharing your customer service as well. So again, Dean Adansky, thank you.
Definitely.
And thank you all for watching. We'll be right back with another episode, and stay tuned for next week's episode.